that I thought the ancestors needed to hear us sing to them. One of the songs they sung when they were up against something bigger than a company. They were up against a whole country that had decided that they were 3/5 of a person. If they walked in for justice and won, we black and white and brown and red and yellow can walk now for justice and won. Former Vice President Gore and myself are on a tour. We're headed to Alabama, where people are facing ecological devastation, environmental racism. He'll tell you more about that. He's headed toward a big conference. We understand the connection between systemic racism, poverty, and ecological devastation. And that's why we're here tonight on our way. And we got an invitation. I want the media to know we came here by invitation, because we don't believe in helicopter leadership. We didn't come here to lead the folk. We just came here to say, y'all fight like you've never fought before. In a moment, we're going to hear testimonies from people impacted. I also, now that we've done that other piece, I want the media to make sure that you print that the Black Lives Matter sign was being held by 2 white folk. People to understand that we are unified in ways that people don't even understand. I want tonight to be a preacher theologian for a few minutes to bring on the persons that will testify, and then afterwards I want to invite our brother Gore to come and just talk to us in a real way tonight. But we have a moral problem in this country and in this county when it comes, Reverend, to environmental injustice. And as far back as the Torah, the Jewish rabbis will tell you, and even the text that rabbis, Muslims, and Christians honor, will tell you that God's vision was for us to take care of the land, the water, and the air, and not to destroy it. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 says, "Then God said, let us make man in our own image and in the likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish and the sea." And the Lord was not talking about a company. He wasn't talking about dominion or do power. In fact, in the Hebrew, dominion does not mean destruction. In Hebrew, the word dominion means responsibility. And it is not a company's business plan for profit. Dominion is God's instruction for community and taking care of the land and all that is in it. Biblical dominion, the moral call of God, is that we are called upon to exhibit the kind of loving care that God cared when He first created the world. And as one poet said, He scooped out the mountains and the valleys and spat out the 7 seas. Dominion is not about being destructive. That's a false view of dominion. The correct understanding is one is to have dominion in terms of service, responsibility, and stewardship of the land, the water, and the air. Turn to your neighbor and say, don't tear it up, build it up. Now later on, and this was a covenant. This was a covenant in the Hebrew scriptures. later on, the prophets would remind people, and particularly the rulers and the elected officials and the kings of ancient world, the prophets would remind them that any time a community or a king violated the covenant of constructive well-being dominion, they were in fact engaged in defiling the land. Morally speaking, anytime a corporation for mere profit poisons the land, the atmosphere, the water, and then spends money to divide the community with lies, that is a violation of covenant. In fact, it's the first S I want to talk about. I want to talk about three S's, and it is sin. As a preacher tonight, I want you to know that dominion is practicing sin. And anybody that's joined up with them is practicing sin. You said, Pastor, how you know? Because Isaiah 24:4-6 says, the earth dries up and withers, the world languishes and withers, the exalted of the earth languish. The earth is defiled by its people. They have disobeyed the law, violated the statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant with God. Therefore, a curse consumes the earth, global warming. A curse consumes the earth. People can't find clean drinking water, and its people must bear the guilt. Therefore, earth's inhabitants are burned up because they violated the covenant to take care of the earth and the atmosphere. And not only is what dominion doing sin, it's systematic, it's systemic. Poor communities like Union Hill and others, you watch that line, it shows you where the pipeline is going. It's doing the poor white folk in Appalachia, poor black folk in Union Hill and Northampton County, and poor Native Americans. Is poor. Everybody that tells you to be all right, especially the politicians, be all right with it being in your community. Ask them, why isn't it coming through theirs? Poor communities like Union Hill and others, poor black and white, brown and native communities are chosen, and it's not new. There is a reason why, for instance, they run the pipeline and the compressor station, and they never go through affluent communities. It's systematic. Now, the sad part of that is they don't realize, or if they do, they don't care, that once something is emitted in the air, it's not going to stay on that side of town. But what we see happening here, yes, is environmental racism, but Brother Goy, it's also something deeper. It's locally undesirable environmental land uses. It's a term called LULUs. Really, they use it in court. LULUs are places where companies decide that they are locally undesirable environmental, in other words, where they think they can put it and get away with it. Hazardous waste facilities, solid waste disposal sites, contaminated industrial sites, and now pipelines and compressors. They are disproportionately placed in poor communities and black communities because they think they are Lulu. But if they thought they were going to get away with it in Union Hill, they are out of luck. This ain't no Lulu, this is holy ground. This is where the slaves were buried who believed in freedom. And the ancestors are calling us. Not only is it sin, Not only is it systemic, the moral issue is scandalous. The word scandal or scandalous means causing the general public outrage or something that is negligent or irresponsible. I want to say tonight that any governor or legislator, Democrat or Republican, or even if you're black, that has chosen dominion over this community is scandalous. Now, I want to go back through that again, because I know some of the media came and they said, I saw the headline, said you're gonna get after Governor Norfolk. Well, yeah, you're right. Because in order to show that he seriously doesn't believe what the blackface said from 30 years ago, you can't just say I'm sorry and address cultural racism, no matter how grotesque cultural racism, that is rudeness and words and pictures, are. The real racism you must prove you're against is systemic racism. And Governor Norfolk, if you want to be a great governor, if you want to help lead the nation, the first thing you ought to do is stop by Union Hill and tell this compressor and tell Dominion I was wrong, but I'm going to do right now. Don't let Mammon, Governor, cause you to miss your opportunity. Now, however, any Republican that wants to tell the governor he ought to resign, well, you ought to too if you supported Dominion, because that's racism too. Don't you think you get a pass just because you don't have a picture? If you are against voting rights, if you support environmental racism, if you are against health care for everybody that disproportionately helps African American and brown people, all of this racism. Democrat, don't you think you get a pass just because soon as the picture came out, you called for the governor to resign? If you haven't been down here and stood with Union Hill, then you just as guilty too, Democrat. Well, I got one more. If you're black, and you're wavering, black, and you're supporting the pipeline and the compressor, knowing what the facts say, then you just as part of the racism as anybody else is. I don't care, even if you're a county commissioner in this county. And I'm trying to say this to save your life, your political life, because these companies will use you, and when they get through with you, they'll throw you away. I'm almost an old man now. And they'll have you saying crazy stuff like, well, everybody got an opinion. Some stuff ain't about your opinion, it's about what's right and what's wrong. When you hear folks say, well, everybody got an opinion over an issue like that, they sound just like slave masters. Slave masters say that everybody had an opinion. No, some things are just wrong. And to ignore the impact of this pipeline on poor folk and on black folk is scandalous. Scandalous. Any leaders in West Virginia, North Carolina? It's scandalous. We can't just trust what's going on. Governor Northam said today, the state air pollution permit issued last month for Buckingham County compressor station is the strongest of its kind in the country and ensures that air quality and public health will not be compromised. Two things about that, Governor. Two things about that, Governor, because I really want you to be a great governor, and you can if you do right. First, when you say strongest in the country, if what's in the country is already weak, if you got a deregulator in the White House deregulating everything, then saying what you just did was the strongest in the country is not saying anything. And secondly, Governor, if it's so good, request it to be in your backyard. Write an executive order and say, I want it in my backyard. Now, the governor said, I hope that Dominion and Atlantic Coast Park Line will listen and respond to the concerns of this important historic community. They would if you politicians would start backing them up. They have to listen. They have to listen. But not only listen, change. And it's scandalous when you join the business over the people. Then it says Dominion, it says, will be a good neighbor. Dominion is not these people's neighbor. Dominion will make billions. I'm gonna close this. Billions. Now, y'all, I'm not too smart. Claire, I come from the country. I grew up plowing tobacco and chopping peanuts and stuff. But you know, somebody ought to be real ticked off when the Dominion representative went in the paper the other day and said, well, we offered them $5 million and a community center and an improvement to the rescue squad. Let me unpack that for you. You talking about 50-some billion dollars, and you want the folk in Union Hill to be happy with $5 million and a community center where they can go have more meetings and an improved rescue squad, so after they get sick from the mission, the rescue squad can get it to them faster. Really? Yeah. That's scandalous. First of all, Union Hill shouldn't have to get those things from Dominion. The state of Virginia ought to be investing in community centers and better rescue squads and schools in this community. Union Hill shouldn't have to sell its heritage for what's right. And the last time I checked, as I talked to Miss Ella today and others, the folk in Union Hill ain't no pimps and prostitutes. They are good people created by God and only want things to be done right. Don't play games with this community. Dominion, based in Richard, said it has reached out to Union Hill community by forming an advisory group. We have profound respect for the union. No, you don't. When you are putting something in my community that could kill my children, you don't have respect for me. We share the community's desire to preserve its historic resources. No, you don't. And we've taken meaningful steps to protect them. No, you don't. You are taking meaningful steps to protect your bottom line, and it's time you're called out for it. And it's scandalous. Now, there's another reason. Not only is it systemic, sin and it's systemic. There's one more thing I want to say here. It is not only is it sin and it's systemic, it's scandalous because I messed around, Brother Gore, today in the car, and read the Virginia State Constitution. And y'all got some folk that put their hand on the Bible and told a lie. And I hope the Dominion representatives in here hear this, because the Constitution says, and this was that Constitution written back in the 1800s when black and white people came together after slavery. It says, no person shall be deprived of his life, liberty, or property without due process. When the governor kicks people off of a commission just because they don't agree with him, that's not due process. That's not due process. That's a rigged game. And you tell them, I said, and the legislature not off because it said that the General Assembly shall pass no law whereby private property, the right to which is fundamental, shall be damaged. Every black member of the Black State Caucus in the country ought to be here, and if they aren't, we ought to be checking why they can't stand with this community. The General Assembly that is allowing this private company to destroy and damage your private property is constitutionally out of order. Wait. One more thing and I'm through. It says the damaging of private property should not happen, particularly, I'm paraphrasing, but here's the actual quote, David, if the primary use is for private gain, private benefit, and private enterprise, increasing tax revenue or economic. In other words, you are not supposed to, under the Constitution of this Virginia, pass policies and enable private businesses to damage people's private property just for their own private gain. And it doesn't have to be this way. As these witnesses come, just know that there's another side to everything. Jesus died on Friday, but there was another side on Sunday. Scandalous is irresponsible and bad, but the antonym to scandalous is good, magnificent, respectable, proper, reputable. It's time for the governor, the legislature, Republican and Democrat, whoever you are, to stop being scandalous and start being good. Good to the people. Everybody that's taking money from Dominion to keep their mouth closed ought to be ashamed of themselves. Right. If you got to break with the money, I read in the Bible where it says your soul is worth more than money. Don't mess around and gain favor with Dominion and lose your soul. Anybody that would dare try to beat up on this little community and offer you a few crumbs that are really based in line, because even if they gave you $5 million, you're going to pay it back in higher bills anyway and medical costs. We need some folk that'll break with the money and do what is right, and anything less is scandalous. Turn from the pipeline. Turn from the poison. Turn from the problem and turn toward the people.
from the community.